And welcome back. It's Jason Walty here, and here's your latest housing market update. In today's video, I actually want to take a deep dive into what we're seeing right now that gives us some indication about what lies ahead in our housing market. Looking at some early indications of home buying demand and how that's going to be impacting our housing market in the next coming months here. So let's first talk about mortgage rates, because according to the Mortgage News Daily, as of today, which is the 11th of January here, average rates for 30-year fix is at 6.15%. Quite a bit lower than the highs we saw back in October of 2022, when rates averaged about 7.37%. So right now, average rates for people with exceptional credit is at 6.15%, and average rates for FHA loans as well as VA loans is around 5.8% right now. So here's a look at rates compared to 1 year ago, because rates have been decreasing ever since really the end of October of last year, but they are still up about a 2.56 percentage points, or just under 2.6 percentage points compared to 1 year ago, when rates were about 3.59%. So even though rates are down from about 7.4% in late October last year, they're still up about 2.56 percentage points from 12 months ago. Average 30-year fixed rate mortgages have more or less been declining since late December last year, when rates were about 6.54%. And again, right now, rates are around 6.15%. So because rates have slightly decreased over the last couple of weeks here, we actually saw an increase of mortgage applications. Here's a new report from the Mortgage Bankers Association, or the MBA. They actually just posted this today, which is again January 11th here, and they reported that total mortgage applications, which of course includes refis plus purchases, increased 1.2% from 1 week ago, and this is for the week ended January 6, 2023. So again, applications, which include refis plus purchases, increased 1.2% from 1 week ago. But look at this, the refi index, which of course is an index based on the number of people submitting applications in order to refi their mortgages, increased 5% from last week, but still down 86% compared to the same week 1 year ago. Also, the seasonally adjusted purchase index, which of course is an index which measures the amount of people submitting applications for home loans to buy houses, decreased 1% from 1 week ago. One thing that's important to note here is that even though mortgage rates have more or less decreased over the past couple of weeks here, applications for home loans actually decreased 1% last week. On top of that, applications for home loans actually decreased by 44% compared to 1 year ago. According to Joel Kahn, who's the deputy chief economist as well as the MBA's vice president, stated the following here. He said mortgage rates declined last week as markets reacted to data showing a weakening economy and slowing wage growth. So even though rates decreased last week, purchase applications slipped to its lowest levels since 2014. And here's a chart showing their purchase index over the last 10 years. So the current levels we have right now for applications for people using loans to buy houses right now are at the lowest levels since the end of 2014. Also, the levels of right now we have is also well below the levels we had back in 2003, all the way until 2008, of course. Going back to the MBA's report right here, Joel Kahn also stated that there was an increase of refi activity that, of course, was a result of interest rates decreasing by 16 basis points last week. However, the overall pace of refi applications was lower than November and December's 2022 averages, and over 80% lower than a year ago. Meanwhile, the ARM share of activity remained unchanged at 7.3% of total applications. In January 2022, this rate right here was around 3.5%. It actually increased about 12% in mid-2022. So current levels are higher than January 2022, but still much lower compared to the peak last year. I also want to share a brand new report from Black Knight that was just published on January 9th. If you guys aren't familiar with Black Knight is a data analytics firm that more or less supports the real estate and mortgage industries. They actually provide a lot of good data regarding what we're seeing right now in the mortgage market, for example. So speaking of that, here's a report they just published on January 9th regarding people who are submitting applications for refis as well as purchases and looking at rate locks. In other words, people who are locking in their mortgage rate when they're just before they're going to be closing on the refi or closing on a home loan to buy a house. So this is a very much of a leading indicator or early indications of home buying demand. So this is a report I definitely want to share with you guys. So it says purchase locks fell 20.5%. By the way, this is compared to November. This is November 2022 compared to December 2022. So purchase locks fell 20.5%, while regular refis, which of course is a refi in which you do not get cash out. So a regular refi dropped 11.2% on a month-to-month basis, and cash out refis were down 14.1% in December compared to November last year. And again, when talking about purchase locks, these are people who are buying houses right now. They have an accepted offer with a home seller, they're in contract to buy a house, and they just locked in their rate with their lender. And therefore, because of this, this is very much a leading indication of home buying demand. So going back to this report from Black Knight here, it says 30-year rates dipped below 6.25% in mid-December before reversing course to finish the month in December at 6.52%, roughly even with the previous month back in November 2022. Seasonal headwinds combined with interest rate and affordability pressures continue to challenge purchase lending, with a dollar volume of such locks down 45.9% over the past 3 months and was down 48.9% compared to December 2021. So the dollar volume of all those loan locks in order to buy houses was down 48.9% compared to 12 months ago. And the number of homeowners who have locked in their rate in order to refinance their mortgages fell to a new record low for the 4th consecutive month in December. It is also now more than 50% below the previous low set back in July of 2000. Obviously, it makes sense we're seeing very low numbers of people refining their mortgages, given the fact that rates were averaging about 3% back in 2020 and 2021, and right now rates are over 6%. Black Knight also mentioned that credit scores for people doing cash out refis rose 5 points to 691, but it was down 34 points compared to 12 months ago. So people who were locked in their rates in order to do a cash out refi, their average credit score was 691. By the way, this is a little bit lower than the rate you need to get in order to have the best rate. You need your credit score to be about 740 in order to get the lowest rate available. So the average rate for people doing a cash out refi was just below that at 691. Black Knight also noted for December that overall rate lock dollar volume was down 19.4% month over month, the lowest level in the last 5 years, at least last 5 years, that Optimal Blue has been tracking this metric, which, by the way, Optimal Blue is a division of Black Knight here. So when talking about overall rate lock dollar volume, the total loan dollar amount for refis plus purchase rate locks, again, falling to its lowest levels in at least the last 5 years. And this decline of 19.4% on a month-over-month basis was mainly driven by a 20.5% drop in purchase locks, reflecting the strong impact of seasonality and, of course, affordability pressures. And because mortgage rates have increased from about 3.5% now to over 6%, cash out refis were down 87% compared to December 2021. Now here's something very interesting, because Black Knight looked at the number of purchase loan locks right now compared to pre-COVID. It says the number of purchase locks in December 2022 was down 47% year over year and was down 33% compared to pre-COVID levels back in 2019. So in other words, the number of people who have locked in their mortgage rates in order to buy a house using a loan is down 33% compared to 2019. Also, December saw the fewest purchase loan locks in a single month since early 2014. The number of mortgage holders locking in a rate to refi their existing mortgage also set a new record low for the 4th consecutive month. My biggest takeaway regarding this report here from Black Knight is this sentence right here, because the levels right now for people who are locking in their rates in order to buy a house using a loan falling to its lowest levels since 2014, which is really telling me that home buying demand is decreasing big time. Speaking of home buying demand decreasing big time, have a look at this, because pending home sales for the 4 weeks ended December 25th last year fell 36.52%. And also, according to Redfin here, pending home sales fell to its lowest levels on record going back to at least 2015, as far back as Redfin data goes. So in other words, we're seeing a huge decrease of contracts being signed right now between buyers and sellers due to a huge decrease in home buying demand. Here's what we're also seeing right now as well, because we're seeing fewer real estate showings for agents who are showing houses for sale to home buyers compared to 1 year ago. So home showings across North America, according to Showing Time, is down 62.7% compared to the first week of 2022. Compare that to 2021 at this time, we were down about 54% compared to the first week of 2021. So I know that was a lot to cover in today's video, so I actually want to provide a summary for you guys because I felt like some of this was actually pretty technical. So I really want to provide a high-level overview about this topic I just went over today. And also going to be sharing some potential impacts to our housing market in the next 1 to 2 months and potentially longer than that as well. So number one, purchase applications, according to the MBA, fell to its lowest levels since 2014. On top of that, Black Knight noted that purchase loan locks fell to its lowest levels since 2014 as well. We're also down 33% compared to pre-COVID levels back in 2019 regarding purchase loan locks, according to Black Knight. Also, pending home sales decreased by over 30% compared to 2020 as well as 2021. The current levels right now for pending home sales is more or less in line with 2019. However, it still is below 2019's levels because we're at the lowest levels of pending home sales since at least 2015, which is as far back as Redfin data goes. Additionally, we had approximately 66% fewer real estate showings across North America to end the year of 2022 compared to January 1st of this year. Actually, not this year, 2022 is what I mean. Also, mortgage rates have been decreasing ever since really October, but still above 6%. On top of that, mortgage rates are about 2.6 percentage points higher right now compared to 12 months ago. So let's talk about some potential impacts to our housing market based on the data I shared in today's video here. This could cause a significant decrease of closed home sales in the next 1 to 2 months from now. Huge decrease of closed home sales due to the data I provided in today's video here. Also, because we could be seeing significant decreases of closed home sales, this could increase housing inventory in the next 1 to 2 months as well. This, of course, depends on how many people decide to list their homes for sale, though, right? In other words, what we're seeing right now is a decrease of new listings and a huge decrease of home buying demand, fewer contracts being signed between buyers and sellers, and therefore a decrease in pending home sales. And this is causing housing inventory to actually increase. However, the increases of housing inventory could actually be even worse if new listings were increasing big time. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to be happening with new listings over the next couple of months here, because if new listings absolutely skyrocket, where a lot of people decide to list their homes for sale, that's going to cause housing inventory to increase even more than it is right now. On the other hand, though, if new listings continue to decrease by double digits, this is actually going to cause a slowdown effect regarding inventory growth. And if housing inventory does increase, this could cause home sales and also home prices to decrease in the next 1 to 2 months as well. Of course, it's anyone's guess what's going to be really happening here, and if home prices decrease, it's anyone's guess how low they're going to get, right? It really all depends on rates as well as the balance between supply and demand. And with that said, please comment below with your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value to this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And of course, I appreciate you. Hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.